What's up, guys? Second video, real quick. It's going to be a contest response for Wadeboshiverson, his contest with his overrated, underrated NBA team. I think it was a starting five, sixth man, and a coach. I think that's what it was. Um, I'm going to do it playoff edition because, it's playoffs. The Lakers and Bucks got eliminated. So I'm going to stick to playoff teams. I'm going to go with the overrated players. My overrated point guard. I gotta go with Darren Williams. Darren Williams is supposed to be one of the premier guards in the league, and to me this year he just hasn't. He has not played up to the level that he could play at, and I know Kyle's gonna be mad at me for saying that, but I think Darren Williams has been severely overrated, and I say that because one, he was on two of my fantasy teams, and he just didn't do jack for me all season, and I don't know. Darren Williams should be one of the best point guards in the league, and there's been you can name five guys easily who had a better season than him. So Darren Williams is my overrated point guard, my overrated shooting guard. Um, I don't know. I'm just doing this like off my mind, but actually, I am not prepared for this at all. Overrated shooting guard. Um, I'm gonna go with Kevin Martin from OKC. Kevin Martin, he's always been the scorer. That's all he's really ever been. But I looked up the stat line a lot. Like, he never really ever shoots for a good field goal percentage. Like, he's like a Monte Ellis. Monte Ellis is going to make you a lot of points, but he's going to take a lot of shots and he's going to miss a lot of shots. And, Kevin Martin was supposed to replace James Harden, and I've never really been a fan of Kevin Martin. Overrated small forward. This is one of the easiest ones for me. I'm gonna go Danny Granger. Danny Granger. If Danny Granger can't stay healthy, he'd be on my underrated list. But they hype him up so much, and then he gets hurt every year. And Danny Granger I don't think he is a premier small forward anymore. I think that's Paul George's team. I think if Roy Hibbert can get his finger out of his ass, he could be a big help for them. So I'm gonna go Danny Granger at small forward. Power forward. Hmm. It's hard because there's a lot of good power forwards in the league. Boozer's been playing well. Taj Gibson's been playing decent. Josh Smith, can't really say he's overrated. um, I don't know. I would say Blake Griffin here, but it's Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin isn't exactly overrated. He just can't shoot. And Zach Randolph, I don't think he's overrated. David Lee, he's definitely not overrated. Kenneth Faried, it's probably going to be Pau Gasol then. Yeah, no, I take that back. I'm going Thomas Robinson from Houston Rockets. Thomas Robinson was a freaking lottery pick, and he hasn't done jack squat all year. And I don't think Thomas Robinson is that great. I really don't. So Thomas Robinson overrated power forward, and my overrated center, the easiest pick in this entire thing, Dwight Howard. I am not a fan of Dwight Howard at all. I have like a four color, seven break patch of Dwight Howard that I want to get rid of, and I just there was a he like I watched a lot of the games of the season of the Lakers. I watched the last 4 games of the season of the Lakers when they were trying to make the playoffs. And every time the team that they were playing would start a fast break, he was the last person back on defense by a landslide. Like they would already have the ball up in the air going towards the basket, and he was just getting back into the paint. He doesn't get back on defense. Anytime he gets fouled, he's smiling and laughing. Today he got ejected, and to be a guy who is supposed to be a cornerstone to a team, Dwight Howard is supposed to be the most dominant center in the NBA. He's not exactly proving it. I don't know what happened the last few years. He was unstoppable a few years ago, and this year he was just like cream of wheat. you know, I just it's like everything was a joke to him. It seemed like he was always, and I guess that you could say, well, that's just his attitude. He's always a chipper kind of guy. No, Dwight Howard could have been a force this year with Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash, and Pau Gasol, and all those guys in LA. And the LA got swept. I mean, yeah, part of it's probably Kobe being out, but come on, man. You're supposed to be one of the best players in the league, and you haven't done squat. Now, my underrated players. Oh, wait, I can't be done yet. Overrated six man. I don't even know. I don't know any of these six men. Uh, I don't even know. I think just for the heck of it, I'm gonna go with Eric Bledsoe from the Clippers. Um, he might be starting. I don't know. It's either him or Jamal Crawford. I don't know. I don't know. I've been behind on basketball, but Eric Bledsoe, he had his little streak where he was hot, and ever since then, you haven't really heard anything about him. He had that like a month or two where he was just on fire, and all of his cards were selling, and everything was just he was on feet. Like I said, he was on fire, and then he just kind of overrated coach Eric Spoelstra. He's not a coach. He's just a support role. LeBron is the coach. Dwayne Wade's the coach. So I don't. Spoelstra shouldn't even be a coach. he was like a cafeteria worker when he got a job offer. I think if Eric Spoelstra didn't have Dwayne Wade and LeBron and Chris Bosh, and if say Spoelstra was coaching the Bucks or my Cavs or the Hornets or somebody, they would not be anywhere near the playoffs. Now my underrated team, my underrated point guard before the playoffs, it would be Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry is one of my favorite players in the NBA, but he is just absolutely killing it. So I'm not gonna say him. I'm gonna say Mike Conley from Memphis. He's been a solid player his entire career, and I don't think he gets enough recognition. I'm not saying all star, but he's been a solid, 12 points a game, 6 to 8 assists a game. I think Conley's a wonderful point guard. I would love him to have on the Cavs, but we got Kyrie. But so I'm gonna go Mike Conley, underrated shooting guard. I'm gonna go Avery Bradley. I think it'd be between Avery Bradley and Klay Thompson, but Klay Thompson just pretty much just shoots, and that's it. Avery Bradley's got the defensive game. He can shoot the ball here and there. He's got somewhat of an offensive game. He's not going to go off every night, but I think Avery Bradley is a solid shooting guard, and I think he was a viable replacement for Ray Allen. So I'm going to go Avery Bradley. It's a shooting guard. Small forward, underrated. I'm going to go Chandler Parsons from Houston. I've always been a fan of Chandler Parsons. I love Chandler Parsons. He's just a beast. He can do everything except kind of defend. He's not a great defender. But he could shoot the ball, he could dunk the ball, he could drive to the paint, he could post you up, he can do it all. Chandler Parsons is a beast. Number 4, power forward, David Lee. I love David Lee. David Lee is a beast. Also, for small forward, I threw a little dang in that picture, too. And without Derrick Rose, he's really stepped up his game. But anyway, back to power forward. David Lee has been solid his entire career. When he was at the Warriors, when he was in the Knicks, he was somewhere else, I think, in there. I love David Lee. Whenever I play 2K and I'm doing fantasy team, David Lee is pretty much always on my team. I love David Lee. Underrated center. Um, I'm trying to make it like well-rounded, but I think the most underrated center in the playoffs is Brook Lopez. You know, he's killed it this whole year, and he's finally starting to get some recognition. So I'm gonna go Brook Lopez on that. And underrated sixth man. God, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't even know who the sixth men are. So I'm just gonna go J.R. Smith. You know, he's very important to his team, and obviously they lost today. So deserves more recognition besides the last like year. He's been on fire this whole year, but J.R. Smith, not really underrated, but don't really know where to go with that. An underrated coach. I'm gonna go with Doc Rivers. I think Doc Rivers. You know, everyone expected the Celtics to suck this year, and they've hung in there the whole year, even with Rondo being out. So Doc Rivers, 12-minute response. I'm really sorry, man. It's really long. Thanks if you let me in. If not, it's all good. Just wanted to make this video. You all have a wonderful day, night, whatever you're at. Deuces.